In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro delves into the concept of stakeholder capitalism as it relates to the World Economic Forum, WEF. Established in 1971 by Klaus Schwab, the WEF was designed to foster dialogue between business and government leaders, with a focus on the broader responsibilities of companies. Shapiro explains that stakeholder capitalism advocates for a business approach where decisions are made not solely for shareholders, but also considering the impact on all stakeholders, including employees, customers, communities, and the environment. Over the years, the WEF has grown in influence, attracting a global elite from major corporations and governments to its annual meetings. These events have become a hub for discussing pressing global issues such as war, intolerance, and climate change. However, Shapiro offers a critical perspective on the WEF, suggesting that the gathering often features a disconnect between the affluent lifestyles of its attendees and their professed concern for marginalized groups. Shapiro scrutinizes the WEF's role in addressing global challenges, particularly in the realms of disease control and climate change. He questions the effectiveness of organizations like the World Health Organization, WHO, especially in light of their handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Shapiro points to evidence that suggests a delay in China's disclosure of crucial information about the virus, casting doubt on the WHO's ability to lead in future health crises. On the topic of climate change, Shapiro notes the use of warlike rhetoric by figures such as John Kerry, which he interprets as a means to justify increased control over the population. He compares this to the restrictions on individual freedoms that are often seen during wartime, suggesting that such language is a tactic rather than a genuine reflection of urgency. Shifting the conversation to U.S. domestic policy, Shapiro addresses immigration and border security. He criticizes proposals like the Dignity Act, which aims to reform asylum processes and establish humanitarian camps. According to Shapiro, such measures fall short of addressing the complexities of immigration and would likely perpetuate ineffective systems like catch and release. The political landscape surrounding immigration reform is fraught with partisanship, Shapiro observes, with Democrats often unwilling to compromise on border security. He points to the rhetoric of Democratic representatives who frame Republicans as anti-immigrant, using the Statue of Liberty as a symbol to argue against stricter immigration policies. Shapiro challenges the Democrats' portrayal of Republicans, emphasizing the importance of an orderly immigration process and the assimilation of immigrants into American culture. He argues that while the Statue of Liberty is a powerful symbol, it is not a policy directive. Shapiro also responds to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's advocacy for open immigration policies, questioning the sustainability of such an approach in a country with an extensive welfare system. He stresses the need to balance the American dream with secure and orderly immigration. In discussing the economy, Shapiro highlights the difficulties faced by sectors like commercial real estate, which could have broader implications for property values and employment. He calls for a change in mindset to navigate the changing economic environment and the increasing power of federal regulatory agencies. Shapiro also touches on foreign policy, particularly the tensions in Ukraine and the Middle East. He criticizes the Biden administration's handling of threats from Iran and the conflict between Israel and Hamas, suggesting that attempts at appeasement are ineffective. A significant focus of Shapiro's podcast is the role of the Supreme Court in the oversight of federal agencies. He explains the concept of Chevron deference, which permits these agencies to interpret laws with minimal judicial review, effectively expanding the power of the executive branch. Shapiro argues that this undermines the constitutional checks and balances, with the legislature, executive, and judiciary each having distinct roles. He advocates for the Supreme Court to reconsider Chevron deference to ensure greater accountability and transparency in the regulatory process. Restoring the balance of power within the government is crucial, Shapiro contends, for effective governance and addressing the complex challenges facing the nation. Throughout his podcast, Ben Shapiro offers a comprehensive analysis of the World Economic Forum, immigration policy, border security, economic challenges, foreign policy, and the role of the Supreme Court in regulating federal agencies. His critical perspective underscores the need for practical solutions and effective governance to tackle both global and domestic issues. Shapiro's commentary reflects a call for accountability, transparency, and a return to constitutional principles in the face of evolving political and economic landscapes.